So, Manish, how do you think about testing these complicated interconnected systems? Because you've got a model, but you're touching multiple, sometimes legacy systems, sometimes external services, and then you're also dealing with kind of happy path versus the full state space. How do you think about this? Because it just seems like you get lost in the wilderness quickly.
No, it's very true right now. So if we look at current scenario as a digital world right now, everybody is using multiple devices, or you literally are wearing multiple stuff.
Yes.
You have your phone becoming your gateway to the information, right? And everybody's using, I would say, cloud kind of infrastructure. It's a standard kind of in place. Now there are multiple teams working on this life cycle, right? Across this, what we have seen is most organizations are actually creating multiple different frameworks. If I want to test Bluetooth kind of thing on the wearable device, I create a separate framework versus what I want to test on a cloud. What Launchable kind of world is doing is that how can I use intelligence and reduce that cycle? As we are writing a software or a code, right? My things are getting tested in parallel,
Yeah.
or at least it starts warning. How you see is in the IDE world, right? As you type in and you write function call, it actually tells you upfront. We need to envision up to that level, and I think we will achieve it one day together.
KK, one of the things that occurs to me, I remember that the story of the plumber that gave a bill for $101, and they said, "Why is it 100?" And they said, "Well, it's $1 for the part and $100 to know which one."
Right. Yeah, I think. Well, let's see. I think there's a lot of like wisdom in like knowing what to test and how to test it effectively.
How do you think about that? So I'm curious. I mean, because you're almost doing the meta system, right? I know that if you're a good engineering manager, you can say, "Hey, I know this is a very tricky piece of code. It's got a whole bunch of uncontrolled inputs. It's got a whole history of defects. I'm gonna put someone really strong on that because it's got a really bad track record." But you don't have the luxury of doing that. So how do you think about it? You're doing this just from numbers instead of from any kind of fingertip feel.
So I mean, one of the things that this kind of led to my originally it came from my technology leader. Was I kind of discovered like we rely too much on like our collective belief or the personal credibility. Like, when engineers try to argue for something, whether it's design or like how things should be done or we usually do a crap job of explaining why. Right? Like we can't really say it. And then so it's no wonder it's difficult to rally the rest of the organization, the other people. And then, I think when I was at Clubbies, I was able to see the rest of the business, and I sort of like understood the power of numbers. And then it's a way of convincing other people, like making them more comfortable that what you're doing is right. Or like, and then that's the home. And then so I feel like I wanted to bring more of that into, like what we do in the software engineering. Like number is never going to be the whole story, but I think we can certainly use more of that. And then in that sense, like if you can reduce subjectivity in these things, or like if you can back up your story with these believable numbers, I think that's going to make your case stronger.
Because there is this trade-off between kind of the craft and the art of programming, and then there's just kind of the hard numbers, right? And it's a tricky dynamic because you don't want to squeeze the soul out.
No, I would say every organization does try to find the balance, right? I mean, technically, all avenues are open. His question is that how much do you test? How deep you test, right? How many times you test? So the many dimensions by which people play around. I would say most of the time, it's my go-to market which drives much more than anything else, right? And in these times, as the go-to market time has dramatically changed, we want everything yesterday, right? I mean, the question is, how can we reduce the cycles? What tool sets do I use? How can I make things much more proactive, doing later on the life cycle of SDLC? So I would say they're all factors are playing the role, and on our side, for each customer, we try to draft it what would work for their organization. We create a whole strategy around it and work with them to see to it that how can we reduce down a dollar spent on every development, right? I mean, it's very important cycle, but at the same time, quality cannot be compromised.
You've been in, you're a DevOps pioneer, and now you're applying your craft in the world of testing. What's the takeaway you would like people to walk away from listening to this? The biggest insight or message that you'd want to share with the audience?
Yeah, I think it's the sense that despite all the sort of like a sexiness and coolness that's around in this like ecosystem, at the end of the day, I think it's really the activity, the time it takes for you to build a confidence in your software change. I think that is the dominating factor in the software development cycle, and I think that is, there's a lot of opportunity to improve there, that I think I want people to think about. And if that leads to happy developers and more productive, focused developers, and I think the effective compound. That I think is the a message to leave with.
And Manish, if you're in your role as CTO, what are the things that you tell CIOs and developments about digital engineering?
I rather than me saying there are many reports which is out there in the market which are talking, but from our experience, I think innovation is digital journey as we know of. I mean, if you are not on a digital journey, probably you are not going to survive. Everyone knows that. So see, every CIO is getting ramped up on that. Some are ahead, some are later in the game. But if depends on your maturity of where you are on a digital roadmap, I would really ask every CIO to relook at their cloud strategy. I would look at it, have you invested, are you on a right path, can you grow much faster than you ever imagined, right? Also, there are many things, if you have done on already, let's say uh, analytics, is that my analytics strategy right? Am I collecting the right data? Everybody should reevaluate and thinking that now, since everybody is looking at digital, how am I transforming myself to it, right? At the same time, during the whole SDLC life cycle, am I collecting right data, right? What is the quality of my data I'm collecting from the each and every part of my organization? I would ask every CI to relook at that. And AI, ML are going to play a big role no matter what we do, right? So what is your strategy? How can I leverage? People think that, if I use more automation and more AI, I'll need less people. Actually, not true. The demand is going to be even more than what you can do more if you can automate and use certain intelligent tools to help you make your business.
So this has been really exciting. This has been very insightful. I'd encourage everyone that's watching, if you're passionate about digital transformation and interested in coming on the show, at infostretch.com. We'd love to hear you. And again, thank you, KK, and thank you, Manish. This has been really fun. I look forward to doing one of these days, but for now, I will have to settle for the digital version.